in such a way that people, when they look at us, you are a walking sermon. Be a living example. Now, question, because you remember the message is titled, Destroy who? Nehushtan. Say Nehushtan. You're wondering, what is this Nehushtan? Now, very soon you'll discover Nehushtan is when the creature turns the blessings of the Lord to become an object for worship. So I want to go quickly and open with me the book of Numbers 21 verse 1 to 9. So the Lord fights on behalf of Israel. And then, you remember, God wanted the children of Israel to go through the land of Edom. Have you ever heard of people called Edomites? So Edomites are descendants of Esau. You remember Esau? Esau is the son of Isaac. And Isaac is the children of Israel are the children of Jacob. Can you see that? So so the Lord wanted the children of Israel, as they are going to the promised land, to go through the land of Edom, but they hesitated because of their unbelief, and therefore when the time are the descendants of Esau, the king refused of Edom and said, you can't pass through this place. Now, and that's an object lesson. I rejoice what we were how God punishes. And God had made a command that they will not touch the Edomites because their iniquity had not gotten. There was a promise that God gave to Esau. So for the sake of Abraham, the children of Israel were not to touch their cousins, the Edomites. And that is why they were to request. If they are told no, they go back and they go round. Now verse 4, read verse 4 now. You've gotten the context. And of course, the Lord wanted to bless the Edomites. When the children of Israel, had they passed through that, blessed Jacob and be led to glorify God. Now, let's read from verse 4. Verse 4 says, and they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. So they were going around Edom because God had told them, do not touch the Edomites. And then what happens after that? And the soul of the people was much discouraged by the way. Now they've gotten there, and then what do? God has fought very many battles for them. Verse 5, listen. And the people spake against God and against Moses, wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. Now listen, verse 6. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And then the next verse. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a what? A fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And verse 9, and Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. So, they've complained against Moses and against God. Then what does God do? Withdraws his protection. And then they realize, what? We're in the desert, and in the desert there are snakes. So the snakes come and bite them. And then they realize, we have sinned against God and against Moses. And then what do? They plead, and the Lord provides a solution. What is the solution? A brazen serpent is made, and you wonder why would God use such symbolism? And then once people, if you're bitten, if you beheld the serpent, what will happen to you? You will live. And of course, this symbolism, you find it in John chapter 3 verse 14. Let's read John chapter 3 verse 14 together. Of course, John 3 verse 16, what does it say? For God so loved that he gave his only begotten. that whoever believes in him should not perish. But there is a sermon that was preached there before. John 3 verse 14. Listen, verse 14, look at that. And as Moses lifted up what? The serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be done what? Lifted up. And then next verse, that 15. Let's go quickly. That whosoever does what? In what? Him. Who's him? Is it the serpent? In who? Jesus. That's what? Everlasting life. Now we loved that he gave us his only begotten, that believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. So this is the point. The brazen serpent was representing Christ, who will become a curse for us. Christ became sin. Any person who looks at the merits of Christ will have a chance at eternal life. It was good news that was being preached there. Now let's go quickly, because we are talking about destroying Nehushtan. Let's go quickly as we close this verse. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 1 to 6. 2 Kings 18 verse 1 to 6. And by the way, the sad story is this. In that story, how it ends, there are people who looked and they lived. And there are some who said, what can looking to such a brazen image do for me? So I'm reading from the King James Version, and the projection will follow. It says, now, 2 Kings 18 from verse 1 to 6. Now it came to pass in the third king of Israel that Hezekiah, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was also Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. Listen to verse 3. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father did. But if you study the story of the kings, this phrase is very common. You'll either find the kings of Israel are the ones who are doing wrong. They are worshipping idols. But mostly amongst the king of Judah, there are those who do right. But the Bible normally will say he did that which was right in the sight of God. And then the Bible will say, but he did not destroy the high places. By the way, if you study the history of the kings, go read for yourself and then you will see that. But for Hezekiah, what did Hezekiah do? He removed the high places. In essence, there was no idol that was